Well, hello everyone, and thanks for coming over. And we're here at ITE Portland, and this is the Transoft booth. My name is Manel Molina. I'm the traffic safety commercial lead or account manager. And I'll be talking a little bit about how to empower local road safety plans with AI video analytics. And I'll touch a little bit on vulnerable road user conflict detection, which I think is a very hot topic right now this year. We see a lot of road safety topics in conferences and presentations. So hopefully this short presentation will be of help. So let's dive in a little bit into why we're talking about video analytics and why is this relevant. We see that data is key in tackling the number of fatalities and of injuries rising in the US. And well, we are transportation professionals, so we rely a lot on data to understand and figure out how to improve and reduce systematically the risk. So when we look at data, crash data is our main method of evaluating road safety, but that forces us into our reactive position. So we are basically waiting for crashes to happen to understand where we need to improve safety. And for those of you that haven't been up to date this year, so we see a lot of industry shifts towards road safety as a priority, not only a check in most traffic projects. And also ITE is very involved, and it published a brief in May, I believe, about how to incorporate the safe systems approach in local plans, and I'll be referencing this report a little bit today. So going back into the reactive position is costing us lives, so we need to be more proactive. But what does that mean? Well, in terms of the data, what other data sets can we use to be more proactive? And so I'll step back a little bit and touch on the simplified structure that ITE mentioned. So we have 4 steps, and I'll be focusing today on the second one. So identify stakeholders who will be involved into establishing the framework of the plan, establishing the goals, and who will benefit from that plan. And then use the holistic safety data, talking a little bit about data. What data sources can we use? How can we identify those challenges that we need to solve to accomplish the plan? The third one is choose proven solutions. So there's a lot of resources and material out there. The Federal Highway Safety Administration proven countermeasures. But for example, we don't have the right data or very limited data. We might think, oh, in this particular location, we need to do a complete redesign. But if we have good data, we might say, well, just changing the signal timing might result in reducing risk here. So we need to choose the right and the most efficient solutions, and then being able to implement those based on budget and a list of priorities that we have. So focusing on the holistic data and referencing the technical brief, 3 points here. One is we need to identify those risk factors to support a proactive and systemic approach. Again, moving towards safe systems and trying to prevent collisions from happening. They mentioned using innovative data collection and analysis, and we were also mentioned there. So what are some of the data sources that we can use beyond crash data that help us get into a proactive approach? And the third one, which I think is overlooked, incorporate assessment, disproportionate impact of safety outcomes, not only in terms of neighborhoods that have been underserved, underinvested, but also looking at the impact, for example, for vulnerable road users. So a collision outcome is not the same for a vulnerable road user than other users. So we need to look and pay more attention specifically to this sector. To quote the brief, and they specifically mention, to understand the safety risks, the agencies can use video data to recognize near-miss patterns. Why video data? Well, it's easy. You can scale it up. It's already deployed in most cities, and it's a very cost-effective way of gathering user behavior data. Touching a little bit on the vulnerable road user side, specific challenges. It's difficult to gather data. So the typical 12-hour movement counts might be not relevant if we are evaluating vulnerable road user data. So we need to perhaps establish a more extensive period of evaluation, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, to really understand how bikes, bicycles, e-scooters are navigating that space and what we need to do about it. And so the crashes are few, but they are more likely to suffer serious injuries. So right now, we're just waiting for crashes to happen, but we know they're going to be serious, and we have few crashes, so we cannot know what are the patterns. So we definitely need a new way of looking at it. And so when we talk about video analytics, here's an example where we tapped into a camera that is in a location, and so being able to use and transform those hours of video into good data, good metrics for us. So AI does the dirty work for us, right? Turns those hundreds and thousands of hours into traffic insights and near miss insights that we can use to make decisions, make informed decisions. It's like, can we see the patterns? Can we identify them? Do we need to do something in this location based on this information? And this real data, this user behavior that we can track. And when we talk about near miss, what is it? A near miss? Well, it's different, and people have different interpretations, but we are able to identify and track those situations. So see by yourselves. What if that person just, had a very delay in reaction, just half a second or even lower than that? We would have a crash. But since we don't have it, we're not looking at this intersection, right? So what do we need to wait for people to have crashes and locations? We can definitely strive, and we can do more and be more proactive and try to prevent collisions from happening. Not only looking at urban areas, but also grade crossings. So we can definitely look into how the users are navigating those crossings. They are just passing through when the gates are going down and the lights are flashing. So if we know, if the citizens are telling us that there are concerns here, we can look at this and justify with hard data. This is what we're looking. And here, not sure if you can see on the right, that just those pedestrians are going straight there and just jumping on the train. And they're just waiting for the train to pass, to go through. But what if there's another train coming from another direction? So we want to understand what's going on here and if there's something we can do to mitigate those risks. Going beyond building the plan, so video analytics can be applied to multiple types of projects. It can be a very valuable tool for any transportation professional. So we can look at safe routes to school, for example, those locations where kids are biking in or walking in. We need to be proactive, so we don't wait for crash in those locations to happen. Any before and after study. We don't need to wait for 5 years of data to validate that investment. We can definitely look and get the data in a few weeks. Any shared spaces where we have a lot of different users interacting, we can see what the behavior is. And then any type of Vision Zero related projects. Funding opportunities. If you're an agency looking to capture some of the funding because you need investments in your city or jurisdiction to improve safety, well, we can help and justify with data to capture this money that you need to improve safety in your jurisdiction. Thank you so much for this short presentation. Happy to know your specific situation and talk through and see if we can be of help and help you support your plans. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.